We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Welcome everybody. Tim Bart's here, Law McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas. We are live. Hopefully my audio is good. I don't have I forgot my tablet today, so I'm gonna have to look to the left. So hopefully, actually, that's not my good side, but that's what you're gonna have to deal with today. But let me know if I don't have good audio. But I think we should be good to go. Streams looking like it's according to the software there, like we're good to go. So today is December 7th, 2021, episode number 17 here on the live streams. Gonna be just really glad to be here, talk about some things. I do have a topic, as you did see from the description. We'll talk a little bit about that later on here right around 7:45 my time here. We'll talk about that. And some people have brought up the shirt here. So this shirt here is a present from one of our Maverick order holders. Came in. He's from Hawaii. He's the one that had the Area 51 Maverick that was lifted with the graphic on the side. Some of you have seen that. And he is from Hawaii. And he flew in to get his vehicle because he actually grew up in Salina, Kansas, and wanted to come back and visit. So he picked up his Maverick here, and he's going to make a nice trip of it, driving back to California and then getting on a boat and going on over to Hawaii with his Maverick. So it was real fun having him here, and he did bring a true Hawaiian shirt from Hawaii. So I wanted to wear it in today's live stream. I did get a couple other things here. I figured I just will shout out and show you some other things. I did. Tom, I don't know if he catches the live streams or not. He's one of our customers that has an order on with us, and he actually sent me some Christmas tree decorations. So some ornaments here to put on my Christmas tree for me and my wife. So thank you very much for those. So those just got those in the mail today. So I appreciate that. And one of our something I want to highlight this week is the great community that we have here on the live stream. A lot of you have been here many weeks with me and joining me, and it's just, I think we've created a great community of Maverick people here, and we can talk and help one another, learn from each other. And one of the things that I wanted to bring about is something that I had mentioned last week about, some people that have, didn't get that Maverick or that hybrid order in time, or like with us here, we did over 400, almost 500 orders, and we did miss a couple orders and getting the documents in on time on a couple orders. And so there was actually somebody in the chat that's on here on the live stream about every week, and that Matthew that helped out. He stepped up. He said, I actually don't think I'm going to be taking my Mavericks, my two hybrids that are on order. So feel free to give that to the moderator, to one of them to the moderator. So we actually worked that out this week, and now he is going to be able to get that. So I really do appreciate that person stepping up and helping out somebody else out in the community and within the live stream here, so that we can help that customer out. And that customer does have a couple orders, him and his daughter, and now his son has one with us, and so they can make a trip of it. They're going to come up, pick those up, and then drive them back. So I just overwhelmed at the compassion that the people have, the community has here, not only here on our live stream, but also on the Maverick, different Maverick forums, as well as on the Maverick Truck Club. So I think I'm just overwhelmed. Now, I want to do a couple more little welcomes here. Don't forget about, all the different things. Well, let's go through the spiel. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the red subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you can get notified when we have another live stream that goes live. And like we had a video that went live this last week, that way you can get notified of any updates and that kind of thing. Also, don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't yet. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody doing that for me. And also, don't forget, we do have membership for the channel here, and that's just something that I've created. Most of the videos and their content and everything, editing, everything is done by myself. And so we do have membership available. Had a couple videos that I did, as well as we do have some different merchandise. If you're interested in that, hit that join button down there where the subscribe button was. If you click on that, you can learn a little bit more about that. So I want to welcome you in. I think it's $5 if you want to become a member, and there's some different perks there. So also, don't forget too, this is going to be, if you're listening to this on the podcast, this is actually going to edit this, and I'm going to record this, or it's being recorded, I should say, and then it'll be converted into a audio file for a podcast. And it's real easy to find this podcast. You can go right to our website, long-McArthur.com. fordvideoguy.com or just lawmacarthur.com/fordvideoguy. I created a page there. The stream is there if you want to watch it from there, or you can check out your, different podcast channels, Stitcher, any of those. They're out there. I believe I got them about most of them that I can think of. So you should be able to find them on your favorite podcast if you want to listen to this, in the truck or in the car or whatever, on your way to work or at work. Also, don't forget, if you have any questions for me during this, or maybe you forget, and then after the live stream, or maybe you're watching this video later. A lot of people do that. They don't watch it live with us, and they'll watch it later. So if you have some questions for the next week, you can send those to the fordvideoguy@gmail.com. That email address is right there, right above all the social media sites there to the right where I'm pointing right there. You can see it right there. So you can always check it out and send that email there. Also, don't forget to, actually, can you see that here? Let me come this way. Right. Oh, let me get that right there. So anyway, you can just always check that out there. And don't forget, I do have a personal YouTube channel that I do videos on there that's just for fun. It's on my personal vehicles, different things that I do to that. And so you can check that out at youtube.com/fordvideoguy. All those links are down in the description, down in the comments down there. You can always check that out later. Just click that little arrow and it expands the description. And I have all that link down there, as well as timestamps. So if you're somebody who wants to just hear about what I have as a topic as part of the title, I do have that. I'll have that once the video goes live. It'll be linked there for that timestamp, so you can always go to that timestamp and then you can check that part of the video out. So let's talk a little bit about a recent video that I had out. Actually, I think this one is actually linked in the description as well. And that is the Maverick update video that I did. It has okay to buy. We talked about that. I talked about the XLT luxury package and explained that a little bit, as well as the amendment to the hybrid orders, what you maybe be aware of there, so you don't mess up where you're at in line by moving you down, by making some changes that you don't want to do. So that video I should have there in the video. So let's actually check and make sure I have that in there. So I think I can do this while I'm streaming here. Yep, that video is right in there, so that you can link it right to that video. You should click on that, and you should be able to look at that. Also, scheduling this week. Let's talk about that next. Get that back up. All right, so let's talk about what vehicles are being scheduled this week, and there are pretty much about everything. There's only a couple that are not scheduling this week. Most of you are concerned about the Maverick. We'll talk more about that when we get to later in the hour here. But scheduling this week, 22 Mustang. This is the first week that you can that you're going to see scheduling for the 22 Mustang, as well as Bronco Sport. Bronco is back to being scheduled this week. It wasn't last week. Escape. Should be plug-in hybrids. All three versions are going to be available for scheduling this week. The Ford Explorer, Mach-E is also available for scheduling. Expedition, 22 Expedition, first week that can be scheduled. Who knows? Maybe my Expedition will get scheduled this week. I have a 22 Expedition on order. Lisa's up on my Expedition in March. So I'm kind of needing that to get here. So hopefully that gets built in February and I can get it here before my lease is up. If not, I'll extend my lease a month just so while I wait for that. And then, of course, most of you want to hear Maverick is being scheduled this week. And again, we'll talk more about that. Some notes that I have, some things that I learned from last week, and some things we could take from last week, and some information that I have for this week to give us some impact of what could happen this week in Maverick scheduling. Also, Rangers being scheduled this week. F-150, which is good. We have about 55 F-150s that need to get scheduled. Plenty of allocations, so hopefully we see those get scheduled. Super Duty, retail only. Retail is for a custom build. So if you want one custom built the way you want it to, those are the only orders they're going to be scheduling this week. So no stock orders are going to be scheduled on Super Duty this week. So I do want to let you know that. Hey, Tom's actually in the stream. I don't know if you saw it, Tom. I did get my ornaments today. I did mention the stream earlier, so thank you very much. And then let's see, Tom actually did say my hybrid was built and will arrive at Long McArthur December 21st to the 27th. Then ship to me in Vegas. Cool. I might drive it down for you. No, just kidding. Anyway, also something to know on the Super Duty. Sorry for that interruption there, but I did see that in there. I didn't want to miss that comment. So On the Super Duty retail orders only. So from here on out, they pretty much have told us on scheduling notes that there are a couple different options that are only going to be available for retail orders. They will not be available at all on stock orders. And those options are the spray and bed liner. So spray and bed liner will not be available on the stock Super Duties, only available on any of the retail orders. Now that's the case for all of these. The other one is the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. Again, only available for retail orders. All three of the different tonneau covers also are very limited, so they're only be available for those retail orders. Active steering, which we knew was limited at one point, a constraint for a while. Now they're saying only available on the retail orders, and that is available on Lariat, King Ranch, Platinum, and Limited. It's standard unlimited, but optional on those others. Also, the 19.5-inch forged polished aluminum wheel, which is standard on the 450 and included in the STX appearance package. That is also only retail only. And then the black appearance package for the Lariat trim, also only available for your retail customers. So they're limiting a lot of stock things, a lot of things that you can see they're limited on, so they do not want to give those to the stock orders. They want to allow them available for those custom orders that they have. Also scheduling this week is Transit Connect van and wagons. So to kind of go over what is not scheduling, EcoSport, Edge, and Transit are not scheduling this week for the Ford lineup. Now let's briefly talk about the Lincolns. Lincoln Corsair, Aviator, and Navigator, 22 Navigator, will all be scheduling this week. And not scheduling is the Nautilus. Nautilus will not be scheduling this week. So Navigator and Expedition kind of go hand in hand with each other. So whenever you see it flip over to 22 Expeditions, it does the same thing with Navigator. So 22 Navigator first week to be able to schedule for those. So, okay, and briefly, before we get into some questions, which I don't have too many on there yet, but let's get into an article that I wanted to kind of go over, and I'll throw this article in there at the end of the stream if you want to check on it later. From Ford Authority, they actually had the Ford Motor Company's sales numbers, the figures for November. So I'm going to highlight a few things. I won't go over everything. You can check it out in the article. I'll link it towards the end of this. Actually, let me go ahead and do that now, if it will let me. I meant to do that right before we went live. Let me throw that in here under the Ford News. And see if it'll let me save it. Hopefully it doesn't go off my stream here. So there you go. All right, so a couple things to go over is that Ford had a really good November, and just kind of one of the quotes that it has in here from the Vice President of Ford Sales of U.S. and Canada, Andrew Frick. He says, "Our new products continue to roll, making Ford America's best-selling automaker for the third consecutive month, which is a feat that was last accomplished in 1974. Ford was also the only major U.S. automaker to beat year ago sales results for November. So they're one of the few automakers that had an increase from last November for this November. So, and I think we all know that they said that they have a lot of we expect growth to continue, thanks to adding an additional 74,000 new vehicle orders in November. So those are custom orders. So we're seeing the flux and the change in how people are getting vehicles now. They're no longer expecting to find them on dealer lots. They're now knowing that they can custom order it, and really to get the best deal possible, the best way for them to do that is to do a custom order. So we're seeing a lot of that. Of course, most of you that are here on the Maverick, that's probably why you're here right now and you're watching this, is because they're kind of one of those people too that has that order in. So I have some questions. I want to make sure I hold those when I get done with this. A couple highlights here I want to kind of talk about. They did talk about that they have a record November of sales with 11,000 electrified vehicles that were sold. And then, of course, total, they had 158,793 units that were sold in November. So one of the increases, of course, Ford Bronco, that was a highlight. They totaled 8,287 units. Bronco Sport is up. Of course, last November, Bronco Sport had 22 sales because it was just launching. So they're saying it increased by 52,000%, but that's because they had 22 last year in November, but this November they sold 11,486, which I think is a big number. And they did outsell the Jeeps Cherokee and Compass combined. So that is really a competitor to the Bronco Sport. A lot of people try to compare the Bronco Sport to Wrangler, and that competitor to Wrangler is the Bronco. Ford Edge increased. Their sales are up. They increased by 4% to 9,489 units. F-Series also increased 14% to 60,418 units. So, and then Maverick, they total of 2,582 units in November. In fact, a little known fact, I did tweet this out earlier this week. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you can follow me. I'm at Tim Bartz on Twitter. And I did tweet out a graphic where we are number one in Maverick sales in the Midwest, I think. I know that it's more than just a Kansas City region because it incorporated dealerships out of Missouri, Nebraska, also out of Iowa, out of Kansas, and then I think there's another state there too, not Colorado, but I think it was about a 4-state area, and we were number one. In fact, we doubled the next dealership, so that was kind of cool being able to see that we have 29 Maverick sales already just in the first 2 months of production there, or sales, I should say. So that's pretty cool, being number one in the region. So that is something else to note. And then some other highlights: the Ford Mustang Mach-E sales totaled 3,088. To date, Mustang Mach-E is the nation's second best-selling full electric SUV behind the Tesla Model Y. So that's kind of what their goal has been, is to be number two, and then to work towards number one eventually here and I think in a couple years. And then on the Lincoln side, Lincoln Nautilus increased 24% to 2,340. All the other Lincoln vehicles, actually, the sales decreased year over year just because of production. Our inventory is real low on Lincoln products. So, okay, so I want to talk about that. Let me answer some questions now, and then we'll get into that. I do have a lot of questions on the email. I'll convert to over there if I need to. So Clarence did ask, is there a way on the hybrid to run on just gas or just battery? No, there is not. That would be called a plug-in hybrid. So plug-ins are able to do that. So the Escape plug-in, that's the version that would be where you're able to say, I want to go all EV mode, which is all electric mode, and then conserve your gas. But in a hybrid, it's gonna fluctuate. It's gonna use gas and battery when it needs to. So it'll flip that when it needs to, and when it's whenever it has it. I actually did a video on this. About that. So, okay. I'm not sure exactly where that's at, but you can find it if you look under the Maverick videos. And I actually think that was one of my Tech Tuesday videos right before I started doing live streams. I actually talked on the Fusion Hybrid about how that works. So you can always watch that video. Can lift kits on for the Maverick be purchased through McArthur? Yeah, we can also source you if you want to get it done locally. We can let you know where we got the parts from, and so you can order them and then see if there's a company locally or maybe even the shop there that can put those on. But you could get them through us if you want to. But usually what we will typically do is tell you where we got them and the part numbers and such, so that you can go ahead and purchase them online, have them delivered to you, and then have someone locally put it on for you, or you can put it on yourself if you'd like to. So we'll usually do it that way. So Paul, thanks for the contribution there. So appreciate that. It says try again, so I'm not sure if I missed somebody's comment or something there, but thanks for that. All right, and then congrats on being number one. Thank you. And that's really to contribute to all those people out there that trusted us with their orders. You know, if it wasn't for that, you know, I'm just glad that you're able to trust us with your order, and that we're delivering on that. And you know, it's really difficult because we have no control over how quickly they schedule the orders, schedule them for build, and how quickly they build them, which is really frustrating because we love to just have them scheduled as soon as possible, but we don't have control over that. And I just hope most of our customers, I think most of the ones that are upset with us at this point in time, it's just because theirs hasn't been scheduled, and it's been a long wait. And trust me, I waited a long time for my Bronco, so I get it. I understand. Just be patient. When you get it, I think you'll really be glad that you waited. I know, just like with my Bronco, I drive it every day and go, man, it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait and how it drives. And I think you'll feel the same way about your Maverick. All right. Do you know, Ron said, do you know the current constraints? Is standalone spray and bed liner still on the list? They haven't had any update. I forgot to mention this. I'm going to mention it. I was going to mention it later, but the numbers that they gave us and information they gave us from wholesale last November, which I actually wasn't in that meeting. I missed that meeting because I had something else going on. So I just got basically the PowerPoint of the notes. They did tell us that all the information was for November, December combined because of all the different holidays between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And usually, a lot of people at Ford will take off the week of Christmas, the week in between Christmas and New Year. So they knew that there would be limited weeks of scheduling. They wouldn't be 2 full months. So that was the numbers we were given were for 2 months of scheduling, as well as I assume the constraints. So unless they add to our scheduling notes, like they did with like this week I mentioned Super Duty information, if there's any change to the original wholesale information, which I talked about a couple weeks ago, then they'll put them on the scheduling notes each week, and I usually share those with you. So at this point in time, it should be all about the same. So spray and bed liner is holding some builds up. In fact, I'd mentioned on social media on one of the posts somewhere that I think it was on Reddit, and someone asked about would I be better off switching over to the luxury package with the drop-in liner, and I hate to say, probably, but you probably would, just because we know there is a issue. I mean, we did see it on the Super Duty and F-150. It's a constraint right now for the spray and bed liner. The material that they use evidently is holding things up, so you might be better off going to the drop-in liners versus the spray-in liners if you want that. And again, that's something I wouldn't want. Although I will say this: the drop-in liner that they're showing in the images that I've seen looks much better than what they do on the F-150 and the way they're put together. So the biggest thing usually is if water can get under there, but it looks like it's overlapping on the side. So hopefully, maybe we wouldn't have that issue. But that's the biggest thing, is that the water gets underneath on the bottom, and then it you get to sometimes it'll get in that bed and it'll stay under there and start to stink and start to roll up and different things over time. So really just depends on if you're okay with that. So but right now, spray and bed liner is going to be a constraint a little bit, as well as I think now that all of the late availability items are now available, like the bed mat, which I think somebody had a question on in one of the emails, as well as I can't remember some of the other ones. There were some other constraints that were late availability items. Those, since they're not on the late availability and they did not show up as a constraint item, they should be good to go. So if you have that, like splash guards and those kind of things, not saying you should add those to it. Again, anything that can be dealer installed, those are things I would say do afterwards anyway. But when it comes to the spray and bed liners, I'd probably take that off your order if you can. So I think it's still a constraint there. Okay, so Crazy World said, do you have any Bronco allocations? I think we have one left. I think we had 14 for the 2 months, and we had 13 of the 14 were used last month. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pull that up because I know last week I referenced to that information, so I know we probably will this week. So let me go up in here. So it says we do have one Bronco allocation available. 7 Bronco Sport allocations available, 2 Edge, which are not scheduling Edge this week, 2 Escapes, 3 Expeditions. My Expedition could get scheduled. 9 Explorers. Oh, they're giving us 58 F-150, it says, available. And they might schedule 54 of those. 104 Maverick we still have available, 4 Ranger, and 2 Super Duty, 1 Transit. So that's what we have available. So anyway, we do have one to kind of answer that question. And what's that? There we go. Oh, scroll a little bit and it just jumps down. Okay, there we go. All right. Egress 55555 said, can lift kits for the Maverick be purchased through McArthur? I think I actually answered that already. So are you going to give updates on the body change amendment for the Maverick? I was going to talk a little bit about that. Actually, that's not part of what I was going to talk about later, but yes. So basically what Ford has is there is a note on here So let me go ahead and read that word for word. It's on the Webdo format, so it is legit Ford information. It does have a little highlight in here that was dated December 1st, 2021. That says Maverick Hybrid Amendments is the title, and it says unscheduled Maverick Hybrid orders that are being amended to different body types, which would mean all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive is usually the body type, and equipment groups, which would be XL, XLT, Lariat, so switching from XL to XLT, are losing their original receipt date, and they are going into material hold status. Only minor changes can be made at this time. So they don't want people switching from XL, XLT, and they don't want you messing with those hybrid orders. So what we're kind of telling our customers is let's not mess with anything. So you maybe if you want to change a color, or maybe if you want to, those optional equipment items, maybe, but at this point I wouldn't mess with it because it'll throw you down. When it says material hold, it'll probably just do that for like a week. Just depends on what you have, but it is they're wanting to keep those in track because they really don't want to see people switching from a hybrid to an EcoBoost, and that's what they're seeing. Is they're seeing people jump from that because they closed off the hybrid orders because they thought they had too many. So if a bunch of people jump ship from the hybrid to the EcoBoost, then they could have scheduled more people, and so, or they could have had more orders for this model year. So that they don't want people doing that if that's going to happen, that kind of thing. So they're just trying to keep people's orders, and so to do that, they're going to penalize those people. So if you do change and make that significant change like that, like the trim, or going from all-wheel drive to front-wheel drive, or the motor from EcoBoost to hybrid, then they're going to penalize you by moving your order receipt date down to the bottom. So you definitely don't want to do that. So thanks for reminding me of that. I did do that in that video that I did mention that, but you can, of course, I just kind of went over it just now. So Larry said, hey Tim, how many Mavs were picked up last week? I'm going to talk about that later. So here in just a few minutes, in about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, we're going to talk about that, and that's actually part of my topic. So just hold tight there. All right. Tom said, hi, can you install a leveling kit on a front-wheel drive XLT Eco? Should be able to. Typically you see it done on an all-wheel drive, but I believe it's just adding a spacer to that. So they would take that off, put a a spacer in there, and then put it back on. So I think it could get done on a front wheel drive. In fact, we've actually done it to a front wheel drive Ranger before, or not a front wheel drive Ranger, but to a two wheel drive Ranger. So I'd assume so, but I'm not the expert on that. Blake would probably be the best person here at the dealership to contact if you're wanting to do something like that. Okay, Judy in Arizona, can spray in right. Okay, I think I missed something there. So. Oh. All right. Dana asked, my Maverick arrived at Detroit, Michigan, November 29th. Was supposed to be delivered December 5th. Dealer says it's still just sitting there. How long does it usually take? So here's something about that. So right now, the what dealers typically will use to track, where it's going, we have a called vehicle visibility, where we can put in the VIN or order number, and we can search a vehicle, and we can see it moving along, whether it be on the rail, whether it hits a certain place. Once it gets to the local, usually a distributing center, kind of for us, it's Kansas City, Missouri. So once it gets to Kansas City, then it gets off of the rail and gets on, and it waits until a shipper picks it up. So it really depends on how busy they are when they can get a shipment headed your way. For us, since we have so many orders, a lot of times we'll have a whole truck that's just our vehicles show up. So it really just depends on where it's going and everything, and whether or not they have a full load to go your way, to your dealership's direction. And sometimes those aren't 100% accurate. They've told us, because they're trying to ship out so many so fast, some of them get missed. We had a couple stories real quick to tell you. Is we actually had one of our sales managers that had a Bronco on order. His showed it was going on the rail, and it showed different checkpoints along the way to Kansas City, and then it hit Kansas City, and then it showed it was going back up, and it went up into Canada, when it was really sitting in Kansas City still, and then he got it delivered a couple days later. So it was really, really weird. For like a week, he said, my Bronco's heading back to Canada. What's going on? So if they don't like if they don't trigger that, if they're in a hurry and they get it off of the rail, but they don't, whatever they need to check that off, then it would actually show that it's still sitting on that rail when it really isn't. So your vehicle is probably sitting, in Detroit, Michigan, as well as Kansas City is a big area. Not only are they have a factory there that they have vehicles shipping straight out of the factory onto trucks, into rails, as well as on transport things, just like in Kansas City, where they're building F-150s in Kansas City, plus the distributing center for all the other vehicles that come into there to try to distribute to the dealerships here in Kansas and Missouri and in the Midwest. That can happen. So, all right, Ridgeview, I sure am, as well as my daughter and son through Law McArthur, full Ford hybrid. Okay, that wasn't a question. Oop. All right. So Vicky says, Tim, ordered with you 820. Your best guess on build date, please. Hybrid Lariat luxury package 360 co-pilot 360 package. Sorry. Here's something I actually want to touch on as part of my MythBuster items, and that it's really hard for me to guess on that because there are some variables, and you do have a hybrid, which can affect that. The luxury package affects it because they're not scheduling as many luxury packages, especially when you ordered 820. And if you had the luxury package with the drop-in with the spray and bed liner, that could affect some things. Copilot shouldn't affect anything. There's no commodity constraints there. So, being a hybrid luxury, that can, cause some things. If there's somebody below you that has a, luxury package, or they don't have a luxury package on their hybrid Lariat, they're more likely to probably get scheduled. If it's an EcoBoost, they're going to, jump up. So possibly. And so, there are some variables there. So it's hard for me to tell. I mean, my best guess is that right now they're trying to schedule get those ones from June, July scheduled, your August. So, maybe next month would be my guess of getting a scheduled date for maybe February or March build. That's my best guess. And again, I'm guessing, and that's something I'm going to talk about in a little bit, about other dealers that are, that are telling customers things and they really don't know. And that's part of my, I kind of mentioned in there, the myth busting thing. So we're going to talk about that, about, dealers, telling customers when, giving them exactly a date, or telling them it's, when it's going to be, and that kind of thing. That I've been seeing on different forums. So we've got to bust some of those myths, because I don't like to do that and be, wrong. If anything, I'm going to be, have a longer date, but not, crazy long like some of these other dealers that are telling people 7 to 9 months and that kind of thing. So we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. All right. So all right, yeah, just tag Law McArthur if you have a question for me. I can see that a little bit better. If that's the first thing you put in there, put that at Law McArthur. It actually pops up bright and orange on my screen for me. All right, Daniel does have a question here. He says, he just moved on me. Okay, I ordered my Maverick XLT luxury package with Copilot on October 1st. It hasn't been scheduled for production yet. How long will it take to get my scheduled for production? Love your videos. Okay, so first of all, you didn't tell me if it's Lariat or if it's hybrid or EcoBoost, but I will tell you this. October 1st, there are people still in June, July that have not been scheduled yet. Not to, make you feel bad or anything, but if you have a hybrid and you ordered in August or October, you probably have to figure it's probably going to be in April, more than likely about April, May build date. So just keep that in mind, because there are especially people with hybrids, they've been waiting a while to get their scheduled. And I have some information about that we're going to get to in just a little bit. We're getting close to that time. Closer, I should say. Well, I canceled my Maverick order. I found my exact order as a stock vehicle. They honored planned pricing, and I took it home last Wednesday. Oh, awesome, Kyle. Glad to hear that. So that is a good thing right there. I mean, we did hear some people that have done that here at Law McArthur that have an order, didn't want to wait, and took one of our stock units. So that is always an option. I will say here we are just for the purpose, we are not honoring the same MSRP on somebody that wants to take an in-stock vehicle over their order, just for the fact that we have 400 people with the vehicle on order. And if we did that for one person, we should offer that to everyone that one comes in. That's really hard to do. You have an order with us. So if you want to get that MSRP price, that is your order, willing to wait. We did the same thing with Bronco. We had a Bronco come in, and we had a lot of employees that wanted to buy the Bronco that a customer didn't take. And we told our employees, if you want to order one and you want to wait, you can get your employee pricing. If you want to buy this one, you have to pay what a customer's going to pay for it. That's just the right thing to do there, because there are other people that ordered theirs months ago, 6 months, a year ago on those Broncos. It wouldn't be fair to those people. So it's just kind of the way we have done that, and we have kind of felt like it's just a fair thing to do. Tim asked, is there a chance that many of the June-July orders for hybrids that have not been scheduled were not entered correctly by the dealers? Possibly. There really has only been about a good month of scheduling of hybrids. Of all of our orders, we had, I can't remember what month. We had, I think, October, we had some hybrid schedule. Take that back. September, we had some hybrids that were scheduled for November builds, and we really didn't have any for October. We had 0 hybrids scheduled in October, but yet we had 45 EcoBoost scheduled. No, wait, 20. I'm getting my months mixed up. We had 20 that month. So we haven't seen a lot of hybrids being scheduled. So just because it's June, July doesn't necessarily mean the dealership didn't put their order in correctly. I would say after December, you might think about, inquiring a little bit more with the dealership and see if they did put that in. We still have some June, July orders that need to be scheduled, especially hybrids. So that, that is still a possibility. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. You guys are really getting to the things that I'm going to bring up here in just a little bit, but I want to pull that as my topic. I might have to move my topic time up for you guys so that we can go over that. Okay, so another question. Don't know your name there, or a bunch of letters there. What ritual should I be performing to ensure good fortune for the Ford schedule this week for my hybrid? Don't know. That's a good question. Not sure. I've always found, really some of the things that I've been doing and saying, here's some things to avoid. Those things are things you could probably do to help you. It's worked for a lot of our customers. So, taking some things off and that kind of thing, making more simplified builds. But outside of that, if you really want those things, it might take a little longer for it to get scheduled. So Kevin asked, Tim, my Maverick has been sitting at the rail yard for the past 11 days waiting on a truck to get it to the dealer. Is this normal? That's a little long. Typically, I can usually see up to about a week. Mine was that way. Mine was late. Mine said it was sitting in Michigan for 4 weeks, and then it just showed up at the dealership. It never actually showed that it was in Kansas City awaiting for a transport. But that's typical, especially with right now. The Ford is sending out so many. They're getting so many builds that may be. They really should still hit your 4 weeks window. So we found sometimes that they're getting on the rail to places, to those distributing areas really fast, like within a couple weeks, and then that just allows for a couple weeks for them to get sent to the dealership. So I think at this point, I'm sure the dealer's telling you that, hey, it's been sitting there for a little while. One thing they can do is they can resource their Ford rep and say, hey, we have one that's been sitting there waiting for a truck. Anyway, what we call it is we can mark it as hot. Say, hey, can we mark that one as hot? Because that one's been waiting about 11 days. And so then that kind of gets them notice and go, oh, let me check on that. And usually they can try to get it on the next truck or something. They can make that like a priority. So Bruce asks, can I ditch the spray and bed liner from my Lariat luxury or Lariat hybrid luxury package to speed up scheduling? No. Any feature that's part of a package is included in that package, and you cannot take out features as part of it. So you can't, Ford has had like certain packages where they have a package and then they have a package delete, where like they would have like, maybe a package that has a moonroof, or then they have one with a delete. Well, it'll be two different packages though. But in this case, you cannot take off the spray and bed liner as part of the luxury package. I mentioned that to them. I said, I think you really should think about that. I think you should take off the spray and bed liner, drop in bed liner from the luxury packages, get these things built and get them to people in order that way, and then let the dealership, add those to them. I don't think it's wrong to allow the dealership to sell accessories, and in my opinion, spray and bed liner, drop in bed liners are an accessory. I think the benefit of the spray and bed liner, if doing it at the factory, is you have that cool forward oval on the back of the bed. That is the one cool benefit of doing it from the factory. But outside of that, just allow people to decide that, or let them add it onto their build. So like for me, I had a luxury package. I didn't care about the spray and bed liner, but I wanted all the other things as part of that. So allow us to do that, I think, is the best thing. And Ford evidently doesn't care what I say. Okay, going on. Kevin said, okay, yeah, I mentioned that one already. All right, Jim said, can I just take the spray and bed liner? Okay, I answered that as well. So a lot of people thinking the same thing as I am. So let's just let's change that. Okay, so someone is still unclear to me if the Maverick amendment affects me having changed from hybrid to all-wheel drive before December 1st. You should be fine. We had actually had some customers. In fact, he's our moderator that made a significant change to his order. He changed the trim on his hybrid order, and it got scheduled. His did not move back, and he, I think, did that just a couple weeks prior to December 1st. So I think right around December 1st, if you made any changes after that, then it would be affected. They're not going to usually give that notification out and then affect it prior to that notification. They're going to do it. They're going to say, hey, do not do this because it's going to penalize you from here on out. So if you made a change in December, you can always have the dealer look in the webdo. It actually show you the receipt date of your order. And then you can see what that date has moved or not. So you can do that. Oh, they blocked me. I'm not. Can't get in there now. They must be doing some previewing right now. So because now I can't get in there. So we did have a bunch of. Oh, there we go. Now it lets me in. So within there, I'm trying to pull it up. Sorry if I'm taking a little bit, but if you click on an order, if they click on their order, then right underneath that, there's actually some information down in the blue section, right below, right above the order options and such. But one of the information there, it shows the priority, but also shows the receipt date there, the date that order was received into the system. So you can see whether or not that date is still the same date or if it got changed because of something you did. So you can always have them look it up. Now, I don't want you to go and I don't want everybody calling their dealer and say, I want to see what my receipt date is, because unless you made a change in the month of December to your order, I don't think you need to worry about that receipt changing, because I already know for a fact our moderator that made a change just within like about a week or so before December 1st. He made a significant change from XL to XLT, and it did not affect his receipt date. His got scheduled this last week. So that tells you, and that's what I love about having, one of the great benefits of having 400 orders in here, is that we can see some trends here that I can share with you guys. So that's just really nice to be able to do that. So, all right. Hopefully that cleared that up. Kim said, if I email my VIN number to you, can you see if it's left Mexico? If you ordered with us, yes, I can. ETA is 12/22/21. I didn't buy from you. Oh, okay. I should have read the rest of the sentence. Sorry. No, I cannot look up another dealers. I actually tried that for somebody earlier in the week. I said, send me your information, and I can only look up our dealership's information in the vehicle visibility. Your dealership should be able to do that if they're willing, if they don't mind doing that. All right, Kyle said, thank you. I was so disappointed with the finance guy and how horrible he treated me once. I declined the extended warranty, but I am so happy with the Mav. Oh, great. Oh, I mean, great that you're happy with the Maverick, not that you had issues with the warranty. Oh, Man, there's a lot of. I'm trying to read and get through these questions as quick as possible, but I don't want to miss a question. That's one of the things that I really try to answer every question. So Ghostang said, Ford tracking site. I have VIN and build date, week of January 3rd. When should I be able to track my truck? About that week, I mean, you should get an email. At least I did with my Bronco. You should get an email once it's been built. You should get an email shortly after that say yours has been released from the factory, and then it gives you that tracking information and a copy of your window sticker link, I believe. At least that's what happened with my Bronco. Harley said, when is the first hybrid expected at your dealership? We have somebody that has expected delivery date of the 17th to the 24th. That's the range. I am curious because Ford did say, the Ford marketing said, they're going shipped out in December for January deliveries. So I am real curious to see when some of ours come in. So I have a couple written down, and they said I could do walkarounds and I could do videos on their vehicles. So I do have some of those dates. So I do have a couple that are supposed to be here. Double check the dates. Yeah, one says the 19th to the 25th, and then I think the other is 17th to the 24th. So we have a couple that should be here real shortly. So we'll just see if they hit those dates or not, or if it really is January dates and they're just being very proactive there. All right, William said, all right, 7:45. Okay, let me get this last question here, and we'll move on to my topic of the night. So, they say that they are having trouble with the radio. Will they resolve the issue before they ship? Um, if Probably not. That's probably going to be more of a recall thing to be done at the dealership. Probably if they're fixing it in the factory and they take care of that issue, then it'll be from vehicles on. They probably won't try to hold up a vehicle. They'll probably go ahead and try to ship that vehicle. So, all right, so my next question is for Chris. So hopefully this stays on the screen here and we can answer that. But let me get to the topic of tonight's discussion. So I want to talk a little bit about, like you did see in the title there. So what to expect for Maverick scheduling this week. So we have been told that we have a significant amount of scheduling going on this week and next week. So we do have 104 allocations that are supposed to go out. We started the month of November with 118. We had about 13 that were scheduled last week. Our Ford rep did reach out to us. They kind of told us why. It was a shorter run. I can't really divulge that information to you, but I will tell you that they said that they've taken care of that, and there should be a significant change and a bigger number this week and next week. So be looking for those emails. I know I said that last week, but that was just my assumption. Now I actually have some information from our regional rep that's helping us out, and he is kind of letting us know because he knows we do this live stream to share that to you guys. So be looking for this week. It should be a significant one. I don't know if all 104 of ours is going to get scheduled this week or if it's going to be broken out between the 2 weeks. But let me also tell you another thing I want to talk to you about is insights that I gathered from last week's scheduling. So I know we only had 13 that were scheduled last week, but of those 13, we had 10 of the 13 that were hybrids. So we had 10 hybrids last week and 3 EcoBoosts scheduled. So now of the 13 of those 10 hybrids, all of them were ordered in June and July this summer. So those were all June, July orders for those hybrids. Also, a little known fact too is all 10 of those hybrids were not scheduled for January builds. They were scheduled for builds next week. So they were scheduled 2 weeks out instead of over a month out. So I know they said they're scheduling for January builds, but our 10 hybrids have build dates of 12/13. So next week. So one of them is our moderator. Him and his daughters both got scheduled for the week of 12/13. So they should get built then, hopefully delivered in the middle of January for us. And the 3 EcoBoosts were scheduled for a January 31st build week. So 2 of those were first editions. So that's kind of some of the information that I gathered from that. So a question that I have, and I don't know the answer to, is the ones that get scheduled this week, are some of those hybrids going to get scheduled for the week of December 20th, and maybe the week after that? Maybe they need to fill those in because I think they were struggling with some of the hybrid. They weren't scheduling a lot of hybrids, and so maybe now that they have that ramped up and they're going a little bit faster than what they thought, maybe they need some hybrid orders. So if you have a hybrid on order out there, maybe you had a June, July build week or build order date, I should say. I think you need to be looking at possibly this week, next week, you hopefully can get scheduled, and maybe it won't be a January, February build week, but maybe even earlier, maybe even a December if we're lucky here. So that's some of the things that I've gathered, and again, that's information that I have from our orders. That's and I mean, I'm real big at letting you know if there's something that I feel like, that's something that I think, or it's something that I know. And so I just wanted to share that information for you guys out there. And something that I'm hearing out there that I want to kind of bust. I like to bust myths. Whenever people tell me, "Hey, is this true? Is that right?" And I always like to vet it, find out if that's correct or not. And there's a couple people out there that share information that I know are always right. One guy on Facebook and Reddit, Tommy, he is always on it. He is always, getting the information straight from Ford. But there are some people, sometimes the Maverick Truck Club and such, that isn't always 100% accurate, and they always, if you don't know, if you're wondering if this is accurate or not, if this is updated information, new news that's valid or not, always tag me on there. I'm at Ford Video Guy on the Maverick Truck Club, and then on Reddit as well. I'm at Tim Bartz there. You can always tag me, and I will kind of make sure I'll look it up and make sure. But one of the things that we're seeing dealers saying that people that ordered a hybrid, they got their hybrid order in October, November, that they're telling them that they shouldn't plan on that order being a 2022, that it's going to be a 2023 build. That is not accurate. That is totally busted. That's totally a myth. That is not accurate. Ford is telling us if you got those orders in, submitted paperwork and all the documents in by that deadline of November 17th, then you're getting a 22 build. Will they continue? Maybe they will go into June. I don't know, but it still will be a 22 build. And there's also other people saying that if they ordered a vehicle, even an EcoBoost, it could be 7 to 9 months before they see it. That's not 100% accurate either. We don't know as salespeople, as dealership employees, what exactly is going on. There's a lot of variables that go into this, not only build date, but also how you build your vehicle. And as I've been saying this this is my 17th episode now. Even since the very first episode, we've been talking about ways to schedule your vehicle, or ways to order your vehicle, that can affect when yours gets built and when it gets scheduled. So there are some orders in June, July that are getting passed over just because they have some things on there, like a hybrid, or they have a luxury package, or they have a tonneau cover on their order that's holding that up. Because if they have limited parts for those things, they're going to go on to the next order. And so that's sometimes what happens. So that's why it's really hard for us as dealership employees to be able to guessing and be telling people what their order date is. So there you go. So I kind of want to throw that out there. And if there's any other questions like that you've seen on social media that you want to know, hey, is this true or not? Make sure you tag me, and we'll go through these questions the rest of the time that we have here. So Chris has a question here. It says, ordered XL Maverick with Copilot 360. Will it come with power mirrors? Yes, it will come with power mirrors. That on the XL, when you go to the Copilot 360, you get power mirrors. Okay, and then Roy says, it came out. Okay, he was just tagging me while I was talking. Back to Kyle there. Okay. Larry asked, I ordered XLT in July and switched to Lariat in August. Did that change my position? No, you should be good. In fact, I'll look yours up later and see. In fact, you know what? I can do that now. Let's just do that now. I like to help people out if I can. Okay. Larry does have an order on with us, so let me look it up here. Oh, come on. There we go. Shouldn't take too long. This is how long it takes. So when somebody calls and says, hey, can you check and see if mine's party 2, or can you check and see on mine? This is how long it takes. So I'm just going to show you. So I just started looking. All I have to do is look up, and once I have an order number, it's a lot faster. So then I can look up his order. And it does take a little bit longer for us because we do have over about 500 orders. So we have to scroll through all those orders to get to that order. So there we go. Oops, went right past it. Okay. All right. So his is in priority 2, and you do have a receipt date of 7/3 still. So it did not affect your receipt date. So looks like you're in your priority 2, and you do have the Lariat Luxury package. You're a hybrid. Priority 2 means it could be selected. If you're kind of curious how many people we have that are at priority 2, let me actually can narrow that down and tell you. We have 180 orders that are in priority 2 right now. So priority 2 means that the region is looking at the orders. So the region wants the factories to look at those orders. Okay. All right. So back to the questions. Where was I? Here we go. All right. So hopefully that helped out Larry. And Larry, hopefully you're still in the stream and you got that, because I am a little behind here. So Harley asked, when are y'all expecting your first hybrid Mavericks? Okay, I answered that question. So I know I'm sorry I'm taking so long, but I am kind of scrolling from the top because I don't want to miss a question. So I will try to get to every question there. All right, ordered July 3rd with y'all. Should I remove spray and bed liner from my order? If you have the optional spray and liner, would not be a bad idea. That should not be something that would affect your it getting moved down anything, because it's just one option. I think taking that off would help your order. So contact your salesperson. Email me if you want. Not the Ford Video Guy email, but my my other email address, or just contact your salesperson, and I can change that in like no time flat. All right. William asked, when do they pick from Law McArthur? I'm assuming you're meaning schedules and allocations and such. Thursdays are usually the day when they're going to get scheduling. Not every Thursday they schedule, but they are scheduling this Thursday, as I kind of mentioned earlier in the scheduling notes. Maverick is getting scheduled this week. Tom asked, will removing the moonroof on XLT Eco speed it up? Moonroof is not a constraint right now. I know it has been on the Bronco Sport, but it's not on the Maverick. I don't think enough people have ordered it that it's been a constraint or having issues getting those parts in. It's not been on that. Now, could change for January. They could come in January and say, hey, here are the constraints, and it could pop up, then. Really doesn't, it might. As I've always said, if it's something you can only get from the factory and you really want it, leave it on your build. If it's, something that the dealership can install, take it off, because we can always and put that on your vehicle. So. All right, so Crow asked, when a dealer is locked out on making changes to your order, does that mean it's close to getting a build date? Usually. I will say this, though. I've seen people have orders in that priority 2, which that's what that means. It goes from whatever the dealership entered in as a priority between 10 and 19, and then has changed it to a priority 2. That means the region wants to do it, and it locks out us having the ability to go in there and do that. And typically that does mean that they would like the factory to choose your order. So that's the goal there. But I have seen some people be in priority 2 for, sometimes a month. My Bronco was in priority 2 for 2 weeks before it was selected, and then it was selected. So that is a good thing. So being in priority 2 is a good thing for your order. Okay, I missed comment. Wow, I'm way behind. Sorry, guys. I'm so far behind. Just bear with me. I will get to your questions. So, wow, am I way up here? Okay, I'm way behind. I was like, Harley says, Tim, when you all expect. Okay, all right, answered that. My Mav has a date on the window sticker of 11/16. It's still in production according to the tracker, but has an estimated delivery date of 12/31. Should I be worried? No. So what happened is what happened is yours got pushed back a little bit on your build, or it was a hybrid. You didn't say it here, but more than likely yours was a hybrid, and that's why you have a delivery date of 12/31, but a production date of 11/16 was a hybrid. It needed to wait until it got the okay to buy, and now they're processing through those vehicles to get them shipped out. Since yours was built in mid-November, there were some that were built in October that are probably going out first, so that's probably why. Alon McArthur, what does order code and sales code mean? Order code is a number that the dealership gives to your order. All of my order, whenever I order a vehicle for myself, it's TO1B. Shouldn't have told you guys that. But anyway, it's TO1B, but you really can't look at my order without our dealer code or sales code. And then sales code would be the dealership's number. There's a digit for each dealership has, and that tells the factories that it's for us, and that's where the vehicle's being delivered to, and then the order code. So, and the order code can be used multiple times. Like I said, I use it for all my orders. So I have my order code on my Bronco. I use that same order code as well as on my Expedition, my sister's Corsair, my dad's truck, the Expedition I have on order. I use all the same number, so it can be used multiple times. We actually have a customer on the stream tonight that we used the same number for him and another customer on accident. And so when we first looked up one of his, I was like, hey, your vehicle's here, and it wasn't his, because there were multiple ones in there, and I didn't see that at first. So that can happen. And so especially like for us, we have 400 orders. We actually have a system with us. I've mentioned it in my live stream before, is that the first, like mine's TO1B. Well, Tim Bart's. So that's what we typically do for most of our sales guys. You know, Mike Mole is MM, we put the numbers in between, and we try to go through those numbers. Sometimes if, you know, the person with sales manager usually puts most of those orders in, and he kind of knows, hey, last time I think I used the number for you was 11. We're going to use 12 this time, and that kind of thing. So sometimes we get doubled up because we forget that, but that's what we try to do. All right. Linda says, ordered late October, EcoBoost XLT, few options, any guess as to when I will get a build date? Again, really depends on how many orders of EcoBoost are ahead of you. They are trying to schedule, you know, both each month. Like for us, we have about 300 hybrids, about 100 EcoBoost. So we're going to still have some EcoBoost ordered within that time frame. So if ordered in October, it really just depends. Again, there's a lot of variables there. How many orders are at the dealership that you're with? And then also, you know, if you ordered it like that with few options, then that helps you out. Could get you built a little bit quicker, but it's hard to tell that without knowing more information there. Okay, Adam, you said you have over 100 allocations left for November, December. How many did you get scheduled last week then? Okay, I did mention that earlier. We had 13 last week, so there you go. And last week was the first week for November, December. We didn't get any scheduled until last week. All right, quick question. I have a 22 Maverick Lariat First Edition with 4K tow package on order. Just got my build date of 1/31. Congratulations. Can I get a skid plate package installed? Another great question. Should be able to. I mean, there should be a part number for that once they're available. So I would think you could probably add skid plates to it. I'm assuming everything's there already under there to be able to mount it to and everything. So I'd assume you could order that from parts and get the skid plates added. Actually, somebody sent an email asked that question as well. And maybe that was you, but I'd assume so. Just like for my Bronco, that's something I was going to share earlier, and I didn't do that, but I actually ordered the grill from a different trim through a parts department this week, and when it comes in, I'm going to have it painted. So, you know, something like that. So getting another part, you should be able to put that on. As long as it has availability to put that on, then you should be good. But I don't know for sure. You'd have to check with parts and your service department. They would know more than I would on that. I have so much that I try to focus in on equipment, features, and that kind of stuff for scheduling vehicles. So when it comes to like some of the stuff that a parts and service would do, I just leave that expertise to them. So, all right. Can you track your vehicle with only a VIN number? Yeah, you can. Your dealership can help you with that. And then I think sometimes you can, I'm not sure what they're sending in emails right now or not. I know they're trying to get those out as fast as possible, but so you may or may not be able to. But the dealership should be able to put the VIN in and be able to search your vehicle. So with whatever dealership that you order with, they should be able to help you with that. All right. That was one of the 2 first editions scheduled last week for January 1st. Oh, cool. Okay. So you were one of the 2 that we had. Cool. I think the other one was actually a dealership employee that ordered a first edition that got scheduled. So, all right, answer that question already. Jack said, so if my confirmed June order got scheduled 12/13, then to 12/20, now to 1/3, is there a chance it could go back to 12/13 hybrid with luxury? I would think that if yours got scheduled for a 12/13 build date, we just had some that just got a 12/13, maybe it will get moved back. Usually they let you know that. Usually you get an email, like especially since that's next week, like Friday, you could possibly get that email. So that is possible. So especially if they have some openings, they said, hey, we need to fill those in. So a lot of people have, I think on social media, saw some people saying that the cleanup week was a fictitious thing, but it's not. If they have some orders that are in there and maybe they can't build that order and they push an order back, then they need to do a cleanup. That's to pull those in. And another thing for cleanup is that if dealerships didn't get all their allocations used. So let's say we have 104 allocations, and this week is, we get 100 of the 104 scheduled, and so we have 4 left, and there's only 1 week left. Then, and maybe we don't have an order in there, and the reason we have 4 left, and there's some dealers that have this where maybe they can't schedule all theirs if they have a very small number, and they don't have an order that the region wants or the factory wants, and like, well, we can't schedule that one. So they give us recommendations. So they say, here are some orders that we recommend you look at and make some changes to so we can schedule those with your leftover allocations. So that's what cleanup week is. So it's not fictitious. It's nothing like that. There is something to that. And there's just a lot of people that don't know everything about it, that's just going out there and saying things, myths, causing those myths, causing the ruckus and everything. And there are a lot of dealership employees that just don't let people know that. But so there you go. Not a myth. Name is Michael. Oh. James said, just letting you know I'm still in my straitjacket. Hopefully you get scheduled soon. I know a lot of people are wanting to get scheduled. So when a dealer is locked out on making changes to your order, does that mean it's close? Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. So I'm sorry to take a little while there getting down to all the questions, but on the hybrids that are supposed to come in this month, have you tracked them to see if they actually are in transit? I have not had time. This has been a kind of a rough week for me. I have one photographer that takes pictures of all the vehicles, and I'm responsible for getting the vehicles pictured and on the website. I'm the internet manager. So it's my job to make sure they get there. And so I do some of the editing of the pictures. Well, right now, the photographer is on vacation. So I'm also being photographer, editor, and getting those online, as well as my other job responsibilities. So I actually wanted to do that, but I haven't had an opportunity because I've just been too busy. She doesn't get back till Thursday. So maybe, my hope is that Thursday when we get scheduling, I can be able to look through some of those orders and some things like that to kind of see maybe if they're getting close. So, but I have not. So maybe next week I can answer that question. Okay. Oh, I hate when I scroll and it scrolls further than I want it to. I miss them. Or installing my Protano. Yep. Okay. All right, so making sure I don't miss anything. Sorry, folks. So Eric said, if I ordered an XLT Luxury FX4 4K Copilot 360, how quick of a turnaround would you expect in your opinion? Again, okay, so it's 4K, so it's going to be EcoBoost. Right, all-wheel drive. I mean, the luxury package is the one thing would be the big question mark there. So, I mean, if you ordered it now, again, everything's a guess, and I hate guessing. But probably the earliest you could probably think of, even on EcoBoost, is probably March. Would be a good guess. But again, I don't know for sure. Well, dropping from first edition Lariat Luxury hybrid affect receipt date? Don't think so. I think what they're focusing in on is the trim and the all-wheel drive to front-wheel drive, or changing from hybrid to EcoBoost. I think if you actually drop first edition, that's a package, that it shouldn't affect it. But if I were you, since first edition isn't available anymore, I'd leave it. That would be my opinion. I would leave it if I were you. All right, Larry, when do you expect the new constraint list to come out? Usually around the first of the month, so probably January 1. That week is probably when they'll come in and do scheduling with us. So it'll probably be like the second week of January, somewhere in there. I guess the first week of January, probably when they're going to come through and go over that stuff with us. And somebody will probably post it on social media before we do, because it seems like our Ford rep doesn't come around to us early, but more later towards the end of they have to go to each dealership within their area and their zone, and so usually we're not one of the first dealerships, and usually whoever some of the first ones are, they already posted on Maverick Truck Club, so that'll be out there. So I'll at least be able to get some of that information, the graphics for you. So hopefully the second week, probably the second Tuesday or the first Tuesday in January, possibly the second. When do you expect the new? Okay, all right. Can you check my receipt date on my order on January? I think that's okay. I can do that. Let me look here. I thought that's what I just looked up for Larry. Hopefully, I didn't get that wrong. Oh, okay. We have July 3rd. I think that's the one I just looked up for. I think I had the wrong one for Larry. Larry, I might have to look yours up again, because I think that's the same number. Like I said, we can use multiple numbers, but that there's only one order on that one, so I'll have to look yours up again, Larry, because I don't know if I have yours 100% right there. So actually, let me go back to that. Oh, J01V. All right, so yeah, the one just asked, the J01A, that order does have a receipt date of July 3rd. And Larry, your order has 8-2 on it, so you're good as well. So that was probably the last change you made there. So, all right, back to the questions. Okay, well, it happened about 2 weeks ago, so thank you for all the info. Good. Drive. All right. Tim, could you please call me back? Left a message. Thanks. Yeah, I'm again, because I had a photographer out, I'm a little behind on calls, so I will. I do have you on my list to give you a call back. So right there, I think Jason, that's who you are. So yeah, I'll definitely call you back on a lightning. So sorry. If ordered from you, but it's being drop shipped to another dealer, would it be in your allocation or delivering dealer's allocation? It's in ours. So as long as it's our order, even if it's getting drop shipped somewhere, it's still our allocation, not that dealer's. Good question. Is a Maverick a flex fuel vehicle? Good question. Don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if that's as big of a thing anymore, but yeah, I'm not sure. Good question. Did you verify we can't change from XL XLT hybrid, or they will change order? Is that true? Yeah, that is true. I would not make that change. They did say equipment group is the same as your trim. So that's considered your trim. So 100A equipment group is XL, 300A is XLT, 500A equipment group is Lariat. So I would not change your trim. I think you need to. That's probably locked in. If I were, I wouldn't change it. How can I know what priority number my order is? You have to check with your dealer. Check with your dealer for your priority code number or priority number, because it usually goes in, like all of ours went in as 10s, but things do change. It can get brought down to 2. I have a lot of guys that come to me before they make their phone calls to their customers. They try to follow up. We now have on a follow-up system on all of ours every couple of weeks. And so a lot of guys will come to me and say, hey, can you check and see where that priority is now? Is it a 2? Just because a lot of you guys have asked them for the sales guys, because they all watch my stream. But they will usually ask me that. So 4K and FX4 mention a high capacity radiator and a heavy duty radiator. Which do you get if you order both packages? You'll get the heavy duty radiator, I believe, which it would be probably the same. I mean, it's not necessarily the same, but it's the heavy duty is going to be high capacity as well. Was what I would think. So anyway, usually the FX4 a lot of times, in most cases, or whatever is the better option, will always be available. So if you're getting both of those, kind of like I think the 4K tow package gets your hitch with the 7-pin wiring, and then on the the FX4, you get the 4-pin wiring. So when you order that, both of those packages, you're going to get the 7-pin wiring because you're going to get the better wiring because you need the 7-pin for bigger, trailers and such. Okay. I did email your dealership regarding the skid plates for the Maverick. Yeah, I did get your email actually. Looked at those right before the stream here. I was going to actually email everybody. Everybody that emailed me, I'm going to email them back here later when I get a chance. So I'm confused. I'm confused. My first edition Mav says that it has remote rear sliding window with defrost. It's actually power sliding, but everyone says it doesn't. Yes or no? It is power sliding, not remote sliding. So it will have power sliding. Pretty sure about that. Well, since I looked at the guide here, but marketing guide for the Maverick. So let's go to the, I believe that's standard on the Lariat package, or maybe it's a luxury package. Power sliding, rear window with tent. It says right there. So it's power sliding, not that. So it is in the package guide. So it is available. So let's see here. Right there. It's right there. So you do get the power sliding rear window with privacy glass. That's actually standard on the Lariat trim. So it is going to come with that. So myth busted. Anyway. Anybody else watch the Mythbuster shows? I mean, I used to love those. So that's kind of what I like to do that. Anyway, when do you expect the new constraint list? Okay, I already mentioned that. So thank you for the assistance. As always, Tim. Okay. Hit the like button, folks. He said it. He tagged me, so I had to say it, right? All right. Oh, okay. How are we doing on the questions here? Late to tonight's episode, are there any issues coming with Hermosa recently? My Mav was supposed to be built early last week, but I haven't heard anything. Okay. So there were, and maybe I'm late enough on the stream that everybody from Ford has dropped off the stream, but there is, they did have some issues with some of the parts that they need to put on hybrids and EcoBoost, both vehicles, and that kind of delayed some things a little bit. So that's why you're having that issue. So there's not an issue with the plan itself. There was just an issue with some of the things that they got for the Mavericks that held up a little bit, and that's why we saw a low scheduling week last week, just for that fact. So and then it'll get picked up again. So they did get more of what they needed in, so we should be good to go. Tim, would you confirm the financing options from Ford? Recently, Ford is offering 0% interest for 3 years. Yes, it is 0% for 36 months. I think 0.9 for 48 and 1.9 for 60, I believe, right now. It goes through till January 3rd usually, but usually we'll reset at the beginning of each month, and a lot of times they'll probably keep those rates going. Our builds for higher trims being prioritized over lower trims if they have a similar order date. Not necessarily. Let me read that again. Are builds for higher trims being prioritized over lower trims if they have a similar build date? No. In fact, we've only had a couple Lariats even show up here. Most of them been XL, XLTs. So I know some people have said, hey, Ford's going to probably focus in on that, the expensive one. That's the one that's going to make them more money and all that. But keep in mind, too, that it's also the ones that have more equipment and more parts that they need to have in stock. So if you really look at it, we get a lot of XLs and a lot of XLTs. Very few Lariats have been in here. We've seen through here. So only, I think, maybe a couple have showed up here. So Ford doesn't really look at it necessarily as, hey, this is going to make us more money, so let's go ahead and focus on that one. It focuses on what they have parts for, and that's usually the XL, XLTs, because they have less parts, less things they got to add to it. They can kick out a lot more of those. Okay. And we had somebody join the Long McArthur crew, Long Mac crew. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for joining us. All right. And when are you going to make a video on the Lightning? As soon as I get information. I don't know what Ford's waiting on, but I'm just waiting for Ford every day. It seems like Tuesdays is a day that Ford likes to give exclusives or give some good early news. I have received nothing from Ford yet on what's going on with the F-150 Lightning. Really, I'm really looking forward to getting some information just because I have one on order or reservation as well. So as soon as I get information, at this point in time, I really don't feel like I have anything to share on the Lightning. And I'm not a person that just puts out videos with a title for clickbait just to get views. It needs to be content that I feel like is valuable to people. Just like I did one last week because I'm like, okay, well, I just have one thing to share. I'll share it in the live stream, but when there was 2 or 3 things that came out last week that I wanted to kind of highlight, I felt like I needed to do a video on it and share that out there and give some new information out there. Some people are like, hey, this isn't and this and none of this is new. And I'm like, if you follow me on social media and you're in the Maverick Truck Club, it may not be new to you, but there are people that aren't. And so I thought the video was very valuable. And so that's why I put that out there. So anyway. All right, so I think I've answered all the questions in the chat, finally. So I might go over to the email. There's a couple of these that I wanted to talk about. Oh, my word, even more. I try to do the ones that came through prior to today, if possible, because there's a lot on here now. So I appreciate you guys throwing those questions out, and so we can talk about it. But somebody did ask about some the bed extender and the swing out toolbox. If they you could put them both in there together, and I don't believe so because the bed extender will swivel inside the bed, and because of that, it would probably hit the swing out toolbox. So you probably have to do one or the other in there. Also, I wanted to know that want to let you know that I have a build date of 1/17. My first edition hybrid ordered 7/10. So again, a July order that got scheduled for a January build date recently. So I think Ford is really trying to get those June, July orders scheduled for people. So if you have a June, July order, hang in there. I really think that you're going to get scheduled real soon. At least I hope so. You've been waiting a long time. Now, this person actually had something that they noticed. They actually went to title they have a Maverick hybrid on order, but they also just recently got a Toyota Corolla hybrid. And when they went to go register it, they were charged a surcharge because they had a hybrid vehicle. And they just kind of wanted me to share that. And I thought that's probably good information to share, is that there's some counties that are like kind of penalizing you for having a fuel efficient vehicle because you're going to have to go to the gas pumps less often and you're going to spend less money with your local gas station. So keep that in mind. That could happen. Did happen to him. It would actually it was like $160 a year that he got charged because he had a hybrid vehicle. So hopefully you're in a good county that doesn't do that, but just be aware that could be a possibility for you. But I guarantee you're probably going to save more than $160 over a year on fuel. Okay, so this person asked, okay, so this person is at a small dealer. They have only 3 orders. He said he's number 3 on the list. They have an XL, XLT that's above them. His is a hybrid first edition package with the luxury package. So there's been none of these have been scheduled. So he's at a local dealership where they have 0 that have been scheduled out of 3. And they looks like they now have allocations. So hopefully those will get scheduled soon. He said they showed that they have 2 allocations before Thanksgiving, kind of like us. They'll probably get scheduled this week. So we've made an assumption. So he did ask. I think he was trying to figure out when his might get scheduled. I believe my order was confirmed October 14th. I've been furnished a copy of my email confirming my order. He's asking how he can check on that. You can call the customer service if you want. Check with your dealer. It sounds like this dealer isn't wanting to check on them very often. It doesn't take that long. Hopefully most dealerships realize that. And I know there are only, some dealerships, there's only a few people that can have access to the webdo to look things up. But it really doesn't take long. Especially right now with not a lot of stock units, you would think that the sales manager would have time to be able to look those up. Just really depends. All right, so Jonathan asked, I follow you on YouTube channel and all the videos you're doing informative. Okay, I'm wondering if you can help me understand the priority status when you order a vehicle. Okay, so yeah, so I talked about this earlier tonight about he says his was switched from 19 to 12, which is good. I don't know why they didn't do 10, but it could be anywhere from 10 to 19 for a retail order. And then anything lower than that, it's the region looking at that order. So we talked about that earlier. Okay, so this person had a question about markup. So I've heard in one of your videos that you said if someone canceled a Maverick hybrid order that was built, that the dealership would resell it to a person on a list. Actually, I do have a list of a couple different people that want a hybrid that were missed out on the opportunity to get one. Um, and one of them we did fulfill there, but and then it says I wondered if the dealership is allowed to mark up hybrid Maverick that are canceled. Once somebody doesn't take an order, it becomes available and they can price it whatever they want. So that is for any dealership. They can do that. In fact, I got an email today. We have some people that go out. I can't remember what the terminology is now, but they are actually looking for units. They actually go out. They check with dealerships that have extra vehicles available, and they offer them a certain price for those vehicles over MSRP. We got that email today, and this I cannot think of the name. I can't think of the name. Anyway, they're offering $5,000 over MSRP. What they're going to do is buy them from the dealerships at $5,000 over MSRP, and then they're going to sell them to dealerships at more than that to make a profit. And then the dealership is going to mark it up even more. So you can tell, I already have it in my mind. I see that these hybrids that aren't taken and could be sold, I could see prices at easily $10,000 over MSRP. We're kind of seeing, especially in California, Florida. I hear this a lot in Florida that dealerships are charging $10,000 over MSRP, and that is supply and demand. I believe that, but I also believe there's a fine line there of how much you charge. There is what market value is, and then there is just overpricing, in my opinion. So there's that fine line, and I think that we actually, in my opinion, I think the market value, as we can tell, wholesale value on the Maverick right now is $5,000 over MSRP. I talked to someone on Reddit, I think it was last week, that sold. They had two on order, and they sold their EcoBoost, I think, for like $4,500 over MSRP to somebody else. So we're seeing that when people do that, and that's where we realized it. Back in May when we were selling Super Duties at MSRP, and people were buying them from us and then going and selling them at an auction in Wichita for 5,000 over, and we're sitting here going, oh, okay, so auction price now is 5,000 over MSRP on a Super Duty. We had to totally change our pricing because that's now new market value. And not that we dictate the market value, the auctions do. These places that want to buy vehicles and inventory from dealerships, they're the ones that are setting those prices by offering those prices to dealerships for their inventory, and that's called the wholesale price. So that's, if 5,000 over MSRP is a wholesale for some of these different places, then that then are reselling them to dealerships, all over the country, then they've actually now set that wholesale price. And so it really looks like right now 5,000 over is that price, and I don't know if that's about where hybrids are going to sit or not, but dealerships technically they can. We do it. We try to keep ours. I always tell people we always pride ourselves in being below market value. So we are always going to be the best price in our area. So if you look at other Mavericks available at dealerships in Kansas, in our market area, even Missouri, we're going to be lower than those. So we are doing 2,500 over MSRP on any vehicles not taken, and that is well below the $5,000 that's the market value in this area. Anyway, hopefully that kind of clears that up, answers that question. But yes, technically they can go ahead and mark that up. We try to be fair. We try to see what market value is on these. We found out Bronco Sport was a great example of this. We were selling Bronco Sports a little over MSRP. We noticed used Bronco Sports were going at auctions for 5,000 over the original MSRP as used vehicles. So that told us that we probably were priced too low. If you can get a used one at the auction for 5 grand over, then you can buy our new one for about the same price. We probably were maybe a little too low. So I know it's a bad thing. That's the way it is. I mean, it's not just automotive though. A lot of people are, really, I see it on social media all the time, price gouging and everything. Dealerships are price gouging, but keep in mind we're not the only industry that's raising their prices because of supply and demand. I've been, it's it's different because it's cheaper, but I tell you what, my value meal at McDonald's is more expensive than it was 6 months ago or a year ago. I know that my groceries are more expensive now than they were 6 months ago or 9 months ago. Everything has changed. Turkey this year was was more expensive than it was before, and I know it's on a smaller scale, but it's all based on percentages. So everything is more expensive. Supply and demand. If there's it's economics there, and it's crazy. I mean, 2 years ago we're pricing vehicles at invoice. Not even MSRP. We're pricing vehicles at invoice to try to sell inventory, and now that inventory is low, it's hard. That's not what the market value is. So anyway. Oh yeah, he asked. Somebody asked about summarizing those finance options. If you want to go through Ford, Ford does have 0% rates, 0% for 36 months, 0.9 for 48, and 1.9 for 60, I believe. I think those rates go through the end of December here. People are asking for rear defrost on the Mav. As far as you know, it doesn't have it. Please confirm. Correct. They at one point they had rear defrost showing up as being I think standard on the Lariat trim along with the power sliding rear window, and then in I think it was September they updated the order guide and they took rear defrost off of the Lariat trim with that. So rear defrost is not available at all, not an option, not standard on any trim. Okay, so someone says, does the Maverick really have more rear seat room than the 2019 Ranger? I would have to look up to see what those numbers are between the two, but I've been in both, and I don't know why. I feel like the Maverick has so much more headroom and leg room than the Ranger does. And I think maybe because it's a little bit lower to the ground, but yet it's not any taller. So I just think that the Maverick has just been bigger, and so. Yeah, it feels that way when I get in the Maverick. I go, man, the Ranger does not have this much room. I really don't believe that. All right, we have hit 8:30 here, and been going strong, pretty good. Almost 500 people. Hopefully, I didn't offend anybody with the talk of pricing and such. It's not a topic that we try to be fair. We don't have anybody not be able to get a vehicle because we've marked up a vehicle, and there's negotiation going on all the time, and we've always been one to pride ourselves on always being priced below market value. And we use that term market value because it's again based on that, and we've that used to be, 2 years ago. I do all the pricing on our website for our new vehicles, and a couple years ago, that was invoice minus rebate, and then things have changed, and now it's a little bit higher. So it really just depends, when that might be. So all right, so somebody just posted Ford Video Guy. Tim Ford is live stream on December 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Getting to know your Maverick. Oh, Ford is live. Yeah, that is actually that video. They do that quite often. You can see it on your Ford Pass app, and actually there's an information in there where it says "Get to know your Ford Maverick." It's basically a walk around where they kind of go through some of that information. They kind of take questions as well. It won't be questions on scheduling, so you can try and ask them, but they won't do that. But it's just information on the how to get to know your vehicle. So they'll walk around, they'll talk about how to use your sync system, how to use your all the different controls, the back of the bed, and that kind of stuff, and those kind of things like that. So cool. I said those skittish. Dealt with a truck before. This is my first truck. Yeah, Mark, I think you'll be happy. You know, one of the things that I've noticed is actually I got a chance to picture. Like I said, I was doing pictures this week, and so we got in a couple new Echo Sports in, you know, and that was Ford's solution to having a low $20,000 vehicle was the Ford Echo Sport, you know. So I got in it and I pictured it, and I went, wow, for the same money, would I choose a Ford Echo Sport that has no cargo room at all, or a Ford Maverick that has a bed and still get better fuel economy than the EcoSport? Now I see why Ford's going to stop making the EcoSport. It's just, you know, just it floors me. I think that we have noticed, you know, probably less people buying Escapes. Maybe I think people are like on the fence now. Do I get an Escape or do I get a Maverick so I can have the ride of an Escape and how well it rides being on a unibody, and drive a truck? So hey, I have a bed if I need it occasionally. You know, put a bed cover on it. Now it's a huge trunk. You know, you can section it out, put your bike in there if you need to. I really think that, you know, the Maverick is going to be a big seller. The Maverick will not take away from F-150 sales. It is a totally different vehicle, in my opinion. If you're an F-150 owner, you're going to buy an F-150. But, you know, it could pull some people from Ranger. I think that's why you're looking at a little bit of change of a Ranger. Ranger, in my opinion, the Ranger really is that person that wants that off-road truck, smaller off-road truck that they can take and they can go four-wheel and that kind of thing with the truck. So, anyway, so Johnny's on the stream. Thanks. Hey, welcome, Johnny. I didn't know when you got on the stream, but thanks for joining me here. So, and he's always good at answering people's questions, so I appreciate that. And along with one of the things I found is a lot of the members in there of answering questions. I do appreciate you guys answering those for me as well. So, um, anyway, so all right, so. Again, okay. Well, I think I have most of the questions answered. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining me on the live stream here. Don't forget, before you leave, smash that like button. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, share this video out if you want to on your different social media sites or to your friends, family, whoever else they may want to watch it. I do appreciate you joining me. Again, we'll be back next week and even the week of Christmas. I'll be here. So that day we will be going live. So we got a couple weeks till then, but December 21st, I will be here. We're going live, as well as after Christmas, the 28th, we'll also be going live as long as people are joining us. So it looks like we've had a big group on tonight, so we'll continue to do these live streams. So I do appreciate everybody joining me. Don't forget, again, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the red subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so you get notified when we have another video uploaded to the YouTube channel. Do again appreciate everybody joining me, and if you do want to become a member, you can check that join button down there, and gives you a little more information about what's going on. Really soon I'm going to do a video, a little bit of insights, more insights to what's going on here at the dealership. So again, appreciate everybody for joining me tonight, and until the next video, we'll see you later. Have a great day and good luck this Thursday and getting your Mavericks scheduled.